Hi everyone, this is the first time to have this video, especially from my new space. And in this session, I'm going to talk about a very important topic that has to do with second language acquisition. A lot of people would say second language acquisition has to do with learning a new language. That is correct. But when it comes to learning a new language, people should know that this is not just a walk in the park. It takes a lot of time for many reasons, simply because it's a process. It's not at all one step process, but is a continuous process. People will constantly be able to do this over time. That's why if you look at learning a new language by just memorizing some words or even to be able to write down some sentences, this is not at all what we mean by learning a second language. Or even the process of acquisition of another language takes a lot of things on the part of the learner, not just being able to use the letter and pronounce some words. Some of the proposals that have been accepted and practiced over a very long time period is that memorizing, which is the audiolingual approach, wherein people listen to a group of sounds or even a song or even a scene from a movie or something like that, and they will practice it over time. So let's say, for example, they practice, they repeat, they memorize, and keep doing this, and all of a sudden they acquire a new accent. This does not work in the long run for many reasons. First of all, this is a fake context because if you go out there and you bump it into a new native speaker, a new person, a native speaker, and you will try to communicate whatever is on your mind, you will not have the words because the context you have been into and you have trained your mind on is basically an artificial one. It's not a real one, it's not an authentic context. In this case, whenever you try to practice language, you should keep in mind this. It is always a must for anyone who learn a new language to practice the language using a sentence situation, not just any kind of situation, and this way you will be a speaker of that language. Why do we why do I say that? And what kind of research do I have in mind when I have this to share with you? First of all, sorry for that. The idea of learning a language, as I said earlier, it's a process, which means you start, let's say, at the right part of the extreme, and you need to reach to head for the right part of the extreme, which is being an advanced speaker of the language, not just one who's memorized, let's say, chunks of information which do not usually work in any situation you'll find yourself in. In this case, keep this in mind. We have some things that is known as interlanguage, which is it is a stage before being able to speak, let's say, English as a second language, French or Spanish or Italian. In this case, in this interlanguage, your mind, with linguistic background you have from your first language, is trying to formulate a new language, a new persona in the second language. In this case, you should keep in mind it's okay to make mistakes. So it's okay to say they speaks because it's a part of the developmental progress that go through a lot of time, a lot of, let's say, hours of being exposed to the language. In this case, be able to again keep in mind that to practice your mistakes, which means you'll be able to practice this. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay, again, to generalize some rules, which means that I said it's okay to say they speaks. Because again, after all, your mind is trying to put everything in place. And this does not happen overnight. Does not. There is no one solid evidence that says this happens so fast. It takes some time, you have to respect that, but by quality exposure to the language, you will be able to do this faster. That is the kind of information that I needed to share with everyone. And I'm going to share more on how to develop your interlanguage on many different levels of the language, on the phonological level, the morphological level, even the syntactics, pragmatic level, which a lot of people do not pay much attention to, and which is so instrumental in developing your persona in the second language you're trying to acquire. Thanks so much, and that's all I have today. Have a great evening.